Welcome back to Tarot and Beyond. Today is an extra special reading that Spirit has been prompting me to do for the last, I would say about 48 hours or so, maybe a little more. And this is something that I've never done before. It's going to be the biggest reading we've ever done here on the channel and that I've ever done in my life. Spirit has told me that what I need to do for this reading is to get one card from every single deck that I own. Yes, that's right. These piles are huge and chunky. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at all of these different cards in the context of what Chiron is currently bringing up for you to heal. This can be in context of Chiron Retrograde, but if you are watching this outside of the Chiron Retrograde period, then this can also apply to your personal Chiron placements. So use your intuition to guide you to the reading that has the messages meant for you. If you're called to more than one, that's perfectly fine. That just means that there's multiple readings for you, or there may be messages scattered throughout the readings that are meant for you. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Select your pile, and we'll see you in your readings. All right, hi group number one, welcome to your reading. If you chose this pile, this is going to be your reading. So what we're going to do is actually just separate out the oracle cards and the tarot cards. So these are all the oracle cards, these are the tarot cards, and we're actually just going to look at the oracle cards in this reading. We're going to go deeper with the tarot cards for the extended reading, which is available in the members only section. So if you guys are interested in that, I will leave the link to it below, or you can just hit the join button. All right, so let's take a look at what Chiron is bringing up for you to heal, group number one. So you have Daring Rebirth, Goddess Ishtar, and Astrophyllite, and it did come up in reverse. So let's take it that way. I hope I'm going to be able to fit all these cards in here. I might have to zoom out the camera at some point. Let's find out. Spiritual Understanding, Archangel Raziel. I'm bringing you esoteric information and symbols and helping you understand spiritual truths. Okay, so something to do with a rebirth of your spiritual understanding. We also have a personal issue reaches resolution, full moon in Cancer. Full moons are about things coming to a head or culmination points. Cancer is about emotional things, and personal issues, of course, here. So yeah, personal issue, something to do with spiritual understanding, but it's a personal issue maybe to do with your healing or your family that is calling you to address this issue so that you can spiritually evolve. And you have Catherine Laboure, the patroness of miraculous healing, which is just talking about healing there with Cancer, so that makes sense. She says, I'm ready to heal. I am worthy of the miracles meant for me. So definitely something to do with healing here, and it's part of your spiritual understanding, which is why it's your Chiron sort of destined healing. Okay, let's see. What else? I Spread Joy. This is a beautiful card. Okay. All right, so we've got a few here. So we have Alligator as well. And oh, this is interesting. This is the blank card from the Druid Animal Oracle deck. So this feels to me like there's an open space here for something to come in, like the blank rune in the runes is to do with free will and your personal choice. That's kind of what I'm getting here as well. Okay, let's keep going. You have Joy again. Look at that. I Spread Joy and Joy. Joy is the highest energy of all. It's the magical sense that everything is possible. Joy springs from appreciating the gifts within each moment. And joy allows you to attract and create your present and future moments at their highest possible levels. Okay. You have Come Out of the Closet. And Observer. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I did have to zoom the camera out and readjust some things. Now we have some more room, so let's take a look and see. You have Ladybug. This is a time of good fortune and abundance, so be willing to receive all good things in your life. That's good. That's a good sign. You have the Femme Fatale in the reverse position, so this is the shadow attribute. Inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money, and power. The light attribute, though, highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. And we have kindness. And phobias. Okay, see if we can get some in the bottom row here. You have Anandalite. And the waiting game. Getting to know each other as you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. Let go. Let go of stress. Wow, back to back. That is cool. Let go of stress. Don't take on other people's stress. Breathe it out now. So you got a double whammy on letting go. You have be true to your heart. Oh, you have Jupiter here as well. And Rose, you are divinely loved and protected with grace. Okay, I'm actually going to put Rose up here because I'm out of room and the blank card seems like a good place for that to go. Okay, I changed my mind and put Rose over here in the corner. All right, so now that all of the cards are on screen, we have them all laid out. There's so many here. I'm just going to sit with these for a minute and take a look at the message that's coming through in regard to what Chiron is bringing up for you to heal in this lifetime and specifically through this retrograde period. Okay, so the first thing that I'm noticing is that there does seem to be some themes around sexuality. We have the femme fatale. That was the one that really stuck out to me, along with coming out of the closet for whatever reason. That's giving me like, you know, choosing to express your sexuality in a more authentic way. And daring rebirth in the reverse position does feel like kind of being in the closet about something, maybe not being your authentic self. It doesn't necessarily have to do with sexuality. It's just kind of like not really being open to share your authentic self with others and let them get to know you. And this could be because, you know, there was fear around being true to who you are, fear around being attacked, fear around being, having your kindness taken for granted or your kindness seen as a weakness. I'm seeing phobias here as, you know, really deep-seated fears around your ability to experience the goodness of life through the experience of, in relationship to other people, because they're showing me the joy cards here, like wanting to spread joy, and then the ladybug talking about good fortune and abundance. But it's like there is this energy of holding on to fear and stress and worry and waiting and kind of hiding away and not showing yourself, just standing on the outskirts, being like that fly on the wall, and trying to protect yourself in a way that kind of kept you separated from other people. But I do see that there is this inclination towards healing. That's what Chiron is asking you to do. It's asking you to look at these things so that you can heal them in very miraculous ways, and it's very much about your worthiness. So I see a lot to do with self-worth here and how that relates to your safety, your abundance, your sense of self, your fears, your ability to be your full self, fully expressed, exposed, vulnerable in a way, but protected nonetheless. This is really about surrender. So being able to surrender and be true to who you are in the core of your being so that you can show up in a way that's really true to who you are. that is how this personal issue reaches resolution. I see that people in the past may have kind of kept you in a box, in the sense that any time that you showed any vulnerability or authenticity or emotion or anything like that, if you showed your authentic self, I see that anytime that you experienced joy, maybe people shut you down. And this is the wound that you're kind of working with here. This is the shadow that you're working with. Anytime that you tried to be your authentic self, people would say you're being too loud, or stop doing that, or they would see it as something to be attacked or ridiculed or criticized or even taken advantage of. This is part of the spiritual understanding that you are working to develop in this lifetime, but I see that it has kind of been a little bit tenuous for you. It's kind of like you've been standing on the precipice of this cliff, not wanting to make that leap, not wanting to jump off, because it feels extremely vulnerable and scary to completely let go and surrender in this way that you're being called to. But it's an open doorway. The blank card here is reminding me of like a gateway where you can't really see what's on the other side of it, but it's beckoning you to come and walk through the door. And since we have come out of the closet, it's kind of like Chiron is asking you to come out of your box, to set yourself free, to stop hiding, to stop repressing, to stop limiting yourself for the purpose of trying to keep yourself safe, essentially. You know, it's interesting because with Jupiter here, Jupiter is the great benefic. It's known as the planet of luck and abundance and joy, and it expands everything that it touches. And it's interesting because it's seen as a very positive planet. It gives blessings. But this imagery of the face here just looks very malicious and evil. And I just got the word conniving as well. So you may have had people in your life who embodied this energy in a really big and sort of overblown way, like overblown egos kind of come at you and limit or attack any authentic expression that you had of just being your positive self, or wanting to grow, wanting to expand, wanting to just spread your joy and experience the joy that this world has to offer. They may have criticized you for that, or malicious. I'm seeing malicious intent here. And that's probably where these phobias come from. Fear of being seen, fear of putting yourself out there, fear of opening up and being soft is what I'm seeing here. Yeah, it's like the crab. You've got this very soft inner shell, or inner self, and it's being kind of enclosed in this hard shell. It's like this soft self that's hiding in the closet, not wanting to reveal your innermost self to others because there's a fear that this malicious energy from the past, maybe past lives, maybe this lifetime, probably both, when we're looking at Chiron, is going to, come back up, and you're going to be taken advantage of. Maybe this was the wound. It was around the shadow attribute of the femme fatale. So somebody using their sensuality inappropriately, or having an attachment to gaining something from you. It's like ulterior motives or cruel intent. And you coming from this place of kindness, having to contend with a world that it's very harsh and can sometimes feel like it's attacking you without mercy. So your task here is really to create, I feel like it's about creating safety for yourself, really realizing that you're loved, you are divinely loved and protected with grace. So it's being able to see that for yourself and to heal this worthiness within you so that you can honor the softness that's underneath this shell and find the joy in life again. Get your sparkle back so that you're not constantly just waiting around, hiding basically, so that you're not preventing yourself from going through this necessary rebirth. The spiritual understanding here, the real spiritual truth at the core of this, is you accepting yourself for who you are and learning to be hard, but at the same time soft. So you can be gentle, you can be kind, you can be joyous, you can be loving. And you can also protect yourself. You can also have very firm boundaries. You can also assert yourself in the ways that you need to. You don't have to take on things from other people. You don't have to control everything. You don't have to, you don't even have to always be positive if you don't want to. Because life is full of ups and downs, and we can't always be full of joy. You know, sometimes it's really hard to do that, and that's okay. But the key here is to kind of get out of the observer role so that you can come back into the world again and really be yourself in it. But it is about facing this fear. The rabbit here and the phobias card speaking to me of fear. And you can try to elude or evade that fear as much as you want, but eventually you're going to have to face it. This is part of what Chiron's bringing up for you. And when you do face it, there's going to be a lot of abundance, protection, good luck, joy. It's going to actually be like so worth it for you to address this, because it's like you're opening this doorway that sets you free. And in setting yourself free, you are alchemizing this miraculous healing. There's something very precious at the core of this, because they're showing me even in this card here, she's holding this stone that is just radiating this light out of it. And even with this card, Catherine Laboure, she's talking about miraculous healing, miracles. So this is something that's really quite precious and quite profound. And it's calling you to search for it within yourself. It's not something outside of you. It is something within you. But to be able to access this gift, this worthiness, because that's what it feels like. It's like worthiness. To access it, it is important that you allow yourself to grow and expand, because I feel like you've been kind of keeping yourself in a tank. And if you're in this tank, then you can only grow to within the borders of that tank. So you kind of have to come out of this restrictive, smaller area that you've boxed yourself into to actually experience these miracles, this good luck, and to not only embody this joy, but also to spread it, to share that with the world through your kindness. Wow, there's a rabbit in this card too. Right down here. And this one's running, where this one's sitting with the fairy. So when I think of rabbits, I think of a couple of different things: innocence, joy, peacefulness, gentleness, kindness, fertility, obviously, sexuality. They definitely have an association with that. But I also think of keen senses and heightened sensitivity or hypervigilance as a form of self-protection. Rabbits don't really have any protection. They're quite vulnerable. So really their only form of protection is their keen senses and their ability to evade detection or capture. They also burrow underground. So it's kind of going into this closet, going into something that does feel protective for you and trying to keep yourself safe and just kind of waiting it out, waiting till the predator goes away. There could be wounds here about being preyed on, people taking advantage of your kindness, as I was talking about before, but this could also be about being preyed on sexually. Or people just kind of manipulating you, gaslighting, or dumping their stress onto you. Which is maybe why you might have felt more comfortable just kind of stepping back and not connecting to people in that way. But they're definitely emphasizing this rebirth. They're definitely emphasizing that this rebirth for you is going to create a lot of blessings. There's going to be some big breakthroughs. There's going to be a lot of victory and success in that for you. On all levels, like spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, interpersonally. I I feel like part of this is going to be letting go of some previous beliefs as well. I just got that message coming through. And it's like these beliefs that that people are bad, or that you have bad luck, or that you can't experience joy. It's these kinds of false beliefs that they're really kind of drawing attention to here, because the healing of this wound is really found in joy, positivity, self-worth, self-protection, but in a healthy, balanced way that allows you to really open up, while at the same time keeping yourself safe and trusting and knowing that some higher power is also keeping you safe as well. Spirit is keeping you safe. God is keeping you safe. Your spirit guides, your team is keeping you safe as well. So it's kind of like being positive, letting go of this stress, worry, and fear, so that you can come back into a higher vibration and maintain that, and no longer attract these kinds of people or situations or relationships that create these personal issues in the first place. So if we're looking at it like which came first, the chicken or the egg, was it the person who hurt you and then that formed that belief, and then you kept attracting people who did the same thing over and over again, which, just really compounded and solidified that belief? Or did the belief form of its own accord, and then that started reflecting back to you in the outside world? I don't think it even really matters, because either way, it's the same result. And it's the same route to heal it. It's the belief either way. But part of you might be saying, yeah, but if I heal that belief, and it's funny, I almost said hear, so you might not want to hear this, but yeah, if I heal that belief, and then those same situations keep getting attracted to me, then it really wasn't the belief, it was just people in general, the world's just a bad place, etc., etc. But what Chiron is here to teach you is that if that's continuing to be reflected to you, that's because there's still some semblance of that belief being held within you. It's not that the world is a bad place. It can be, sure, but it doesn't have to be. And as powerful creator beings, we get to dictate that. So I feel like this is part of this pattern for you, and what Chiron is prompting you to heal here. It's really about your sovereignty and your personal empowerment. It's saying, I'm not a victim. I am the creator of my reality. And beginning the process of healing through this renewal of self-worth and trust and faith and joy and positivity, so that this daring rebirth can occur. Oh, I forgot you had Ishtar. Yeah, Ishtar. Ishtar, I think, is associated with the rabbit as well, because it's like Easter. Ishtar, Easter. Interesting. So yeah, fertility is a part of this for sure. You may have been demonized for your sexual preferences. You may have been demonized for your sexual expression. Or you may have been attacked by predators, because I'm definitely getting that from the alligator here. It's like predator and prey, the rabbit and the alligator. You may have been preyed upon by people who saw you as a sexual object in some way, shape, or form, and in turn started to fear expressing your own sexuality, or fearing other people and their intentions, fearing expressing yourself authentically. Maybe this meant dressing differently. Maybe this meant not leaving the house. Maybe this meant not connecting to certain people. Maybe this meant not doing things that you wanted to do because there was that underlying fear. Yeah, I keep getting this message of the wound being centering around I can't protect myself. So it does have a heavy emphasis on the shadow side of the victim. And the shadow side of the victim is victim. The light side is victor. Victim, victor. And they were showing me the laurel wreath in this getting to know each other card, and the laurel wreath always speaks of victory. So you're meant to step into victory. And this victory could be around liberation of what brings you joy, what brings you pleasure, how you authentically express yourself. And the other aspect of this that I'm also seeing, and they're drawing my eyes to, is the fact that this person here kind of looks like a geisha, and then we had the femme fatale in the reverse, which is kind of like the prostitute energy, because it does, she did talk about inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money and power. So that could be part of this as well. It's like almost self-victimization in the sense that there was misalignment in the usage of the sensual power, perhaps for money or sway or to keep yourself safe or something along these lines. And I'm not saying that this is something that you've necessarily experienced in this lifetime. Chiron tends to have its roots in our past lives. And we don't want to take this personally in the sense that, you know, this is something that's, you know, really aberrant or anything like that. These are all just larger storylines of the soul. We sign up for these things at a much higher level. We can look at them as kind of like plays, little plays within plays. We play these different roles within the plays, different characters. So if we can sort of detach a little bit from, you know, oh, I was this and that makes me a bad person. No, that's not the case. This is all just a soul experience for spiritual understanding. If you can look at it that way, kind of zoom your focus out and look at it from the soul perspective rather than the human perspective, it makes it a lot easier to heal these things because you're not getting so attached to the shame or the pain or the fear or the wounds, and you can kind of see it for what it is. You can see the bigger picture of it and start to choose of your own free will, which is what the blank card talks about here, what you want to approach the situation with and what you want to become out of it. Not identifying with, you know, these patterns or themes, but simply using them as spiritual catalyst to assist you in your evolution. Now, the other aspect of Chiron is the wounded healer. So this is somewhere that we usually have a wound that if we learn how to heal it, we can actually heal other people as well. We can turn around and support other people. So I do see that this could be part of that as well. And you may have been doing this in a distorted way, you know, taking on the burdens of other people, taking on their stress, their worry, their fear because of your kindness. I just got a message of some people may have devalued you while at the same time valuing you highly. So what do I mean by that? It's like they saw you as a commodity, as an object that was highly valuable, but they devalued you in the way that they used or expressed that. Does that make sense? Like, because what they showed me with the anandalite here was that this is a really beautiful crystal stone, and it's almost like they would value it for what it was, value it for its beauty, but instead of prizing it or, you know, really seeing its true worth and its spiritual value, instead, you know, using it to trade. So again, I'm getting this energy of objectification. So people may have objectified you or put you into these situations where you were seen as less than what you are. Again, it circles right back to your worth and how people have perceived you and treated you. But you're here to learn this lesson so that you can teach something about this. So that you can teach people about the blessings that were hidden within these situations that maybe taught you about good fortune and joy and self-acceptance and kindness and protection and the spiritual understanding that came along with this. So I feel like there is the capacity to teach these things to a fairly high degree. But first, it's necessary to go through that death and rebirth process and get out of that sort of no man's land of waiting and hiding and waiting and hiding. It's time to heal and return to the soft feminine essence, whether you're male or female. It's returning to the female polarity and healing, rather, the female polarity within yourself, which is the acceptance of your sensuality, the acceptance of your softness, the acceptance of your grace, and the joy and the luck and the abundance and alignment that comes along with that. It's that soft inner part of the crab that you're being called to look at and to embrace. And that doesn't mean that you need to shed your outer shell and go out into the world with no protection. Even a rose has thorns. So you can have these spiritual protections, you can have these self-defense mechanisms, but they don't need to be so absolute that you are withdrawn and put into a purely observatory position where you are experiencing life in a more abstract way because you're no longer involved in the process of living it as a result of trying to protect yourself. So this is really kind of bringing yourself back to what is possible for you, what you want to attract based on what you're emitting vibrationally, and raising your frequency to that of joy and trust and self-awareness and self-honoring and sensuality and softness, while at the same time asserting your boundaries and protecting yourself, not just in how you communicate or express with other people, but also in how you align to your own frequency. And keeping yourself in that aligned frequency is the best form of protection. Healing yourself is the best form of protection, because then you're not going to continue magnetizing and attracting to you situations that really, entrenched these fears into you in the first place. The path to this daring rebirth is in letting go. It is in surrendering, because that is part of the divine feminine principle. It is letting go and surrendering to this healing, feeling your way through it, allowing yourself to express and explore what brings you joy in a very innocent way, but not foolhardy. Maybe a little bit foolhardy in the sense that you're willing to trust, but not so foolhardy that you're putting yourself into the alligator's jaws. It's essentially the wisdom to be able to identify and understand that swimming with the alligators is not safe. Especially if you're a rabbit. You're not meant to be in that territory. And perhaps changing your environment is a big part of that. But I think the biggest part of that, like I was saying, is changing your energetic environment, which is the frequency that you're emitting based on your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your deeply held fears. All right, guys, so that is what I see for you, group number 1. We're going to go even deeper with the extended, with the tarot cards, and we're going to get information about what you can do on a more practical basis to heal this, and who else has been involved in this situation or this healing crisis, or what Chiron is bringing up, or what you're meant to be teaching more specifically. So we're going to try and get even deeper with the tarot cards. If you guys are interested in watching the extended, you can become a member for $10.99 a month. That will get you access to not only this extended reading, but also all of the other members only readings that are available on the channel, as well as the monthly lives that we do where you guys can ask me personal questions and I'll connect to you. It's sort of one-on-one / group setting to be able to answer your questions more directly. If you're interested and you don't see the join button next to the subscribe button, that means that you're on an iOS device and you do either need to go through a web page rather than the YouTube app, or a desktop or some other kind of device. So thank you guys so much for being here. I hope that this reading resonated and supported you in healing whatever Chiron is bringing up for you. And if this is where we part ways, then thank you so much for being on the channel. Thank you for liking the video, sharing it, or subscribing to the channel, or commenting. Any support, even of you, is deeply appreciated. So thank you very much. I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye. All right, hi group number 2, welcome to your reading. So if you chose this pile, we're going to find out what Chiron is bringing up for you to heal. So I'm going to separate out the tarot cards, and we're going to look at these in the extended reading, which is available through the members only section. So if you guys are interested in that, you can find that link below in the description box, or you can just hit the join button and choose your tier. Okay, so let's start with your oracle cards here. So we have Nourishment, Angel Isda, and Carnelian. I realized in group number 1 that I really had to zoom the camera out to be able to fit all of these in. There's so many cards. You have Brilliant Idea, Archangel Uriel. Yes, your idea is divinely guided. Please take action to bring your idea to fruition. Nourishing of your ideas, your mind. Balance, spirituality, and practicality. Full moon in Pisces. Perpetua, the saint of authenticity. I am my authentic self in all circumstances. Oh, there's 2 here. I am trustful in my relationships. And, oh, you got Starfish. Interesting. You have the Horse as well. You have relationship. Okay, we have a couple of different themes here talking about relationship. It says your primary relationship is with yourself and God, and every other relationship follows from there. To attract, heal, or balance a relationship, snuggle more closely with your loving Creator. As you feel safe and loved within, so shall your other relationships bloom and prosper. So maybe nourishing, something to do with relationships so that you can feel more authentic, more free. I'm getting freedom from the Horse here, less attached. Starfish kind of makes me think of attachment because they suck onto things. Artistic expression, Paul the Venetian. Brilliant Idea, okay. Something to do with nourishing your ideas, your artistic expression, your authenticity, how you kind of approach that. Yang energy, yeah, definitely, especially under balancing spirituality and practicality. It's kind of like, how do you approach and express your artistic ideas? Because if they remain ideas and you don't act on them, then it's like they start to wither away and die. And then you're suppressing your authentic expression because the idea is not coming to life. You're not becoming that version of you that can express that. It's like you're an artist, but you're not expressing this art in the way that your soul is desiring to. That's kind of what I'm feeling here. You have the Penguin. The period of darkness that you've been experiencing is now passing. Well, it's beautiful, especially in a Chiron reading. So you are coming out of this cold, painful period is what this feels like. Yeah, it's like cold. And they're giving me the feeling of like when your skin is pressed onto ice, and it's kind of like a burning cold. So something to do with that kind of pain. It's like burning cold. You have the King, light attribute here because it's upright, which is enlightened, benevolent leadership benefiting those in your charge. I do want to read the shadow just for good measure. Since we're doing a Chiron reading, we're looking at a lot of shadow aspects here, and it is excess feelings of entitlement and rulership without restraint. Okay. You have trust and faith in reverse. So you may have lost trust. That could be part of this wound, lost faith in yourself or in a higher power. I'm seeing that here. Spirituality being being emphasized pretty heavily in your reading here, group 2. You have trigonic quartz. Yeah, this is very much to do with higher level soul blueprint healing. And again, they're giving me like power, strength, and freedom from the horse here. So it's like having a really strong, capable capacity to be able to heal the soul. You have wisdom, which is the Hierophant. I included this in the Oracle section because these cards are more like Oracle, even though technically they're based on the tarot. And you have, this could be the one, you've already met the romantic partner you seek. So definitely a lot to do with relationships, artistic expression, and religion or spirituality. I'm seeing religion here. It's like faith in God seems to be an emphasis. And Chiron patterns usually have stems or roots in our past lives as well. So we have look for a sign. Yeah, something to do with your faith in the universe, faith in God, faith in a higher relationship. They did mention that here. Your primary relationship is with yourself and with God. So every other relationship is going to be sort of subsequent to that, or it's going to express the dynamic that you have in that primary relationship with yourself and the Creator. Brothers and sisters, to get along with others, to see the love and the best within them. So relationships of all kinds are highlighted very heavily here. There may be have been a period of pain or darkness in relation to your family. I'm also feeling collective. Brothers and sisters can also be relating to the collective, like just people in general and how you were able to show up. But oh yeah, I am trustful in my relationships, and then trust and faith in reverse. I totally didn't even see that until right now. Yeah, so there's a wound of a trust wound here. There's some trust issues here. Could be stemming from family, could be stemming from the relationship to God, could be stemming from a repression of your own self-authentic expression, which again would cause you to not trust yourself because you're not nourishing yourself, you're not honoring yourself, not respecting yourself. Okay, we have illumination. Well, I love that. Very much about transformation here, death and rebirth with the moth, seeking out the light, looking for the information, connecting to God is what I'm seeing here. It's like finding your faith again. Seeking that faith through the illumination of your mind, acting on brilliant ideas that are given to you. And I mean given to you by Creator. You know, it's like inspiration, spirit within. You also have Pisces. Wow, you had full moon in Pisces, and then you have the Pisces card as well. So spirituality is definitely emphasized here. In relation to your dreams and how you either idealize and separate yourself from your dreams or actually take action and go after them. So there may have been wounds here around, trusting yourself to be able to implement your dreams, to create harmony in your artistic expression. I definitely, Pisces is a very artistic energy because it's highly spiritual. It's very creative. It's super tapped into the psychic realms, the subconscious mind, and the imagination. So, that's something that comes very natural to Pisces. And I can say that because I'm a Pisces sun. Very artistic, very creative, very deep thinkers we are. And the problem though, and I can say this because I'm a Pisces sun and I've dealt with this my whole life, is implementation. The opposite end of the spectrum to Pisces is Virgo. And oftentimes Pisces will have a hard time with that Virgo aspect where we have a hard time organizing or implementing or planning or, being disciplined or putting things into action. We have a lot of brilliant ideas and sometimes it's hard to create them or make them physical in some way. Some of that can be, to do with wounded connection to the masculine principle within yourself, your ability to use that yang energy to take action and to start something new or to express yourself. I'm seeing, very, very heavy emphasis on masculine energy here. We have the king and the yang energy. So it's like, how do you How do you connect to your masculine energy? And we all have masculine within us. It's not about gender, it's polarity. So being connected to the healthy masculine is your ability to step into this leadership position, connecting to, again, enlightenment. The king is a conduit for the divine. He's a divine ruler in divine right, is what they just told me. And this is the illumination. We have illumination coming out underneath enlightened, and period of darkness. The moth seeks out the light in the dark. So after a period of darkness, coming back into this wholeness within yourself, seeing the masculine principle and honoring it within you so that you can trust yourself again. Trusting those intuitive and imaginative and artistic expressions or experiences of thought, those brilliant ideas, and being in good relationship to yourself and to God and to others so that you can implement that. And you have cornflower. Learn from friendships old and new. Yeah, we have a big emphasis here on your relationships. Family, friends, romantic partners, your relationship to yourself, your relationship to God, your relationship to the universe, your relationship to your masculine energy. All of these things are being emphasized here. And then now they're drawing my attention back to these two, which is freedom and attachment. So if your relationships were coming from, if you were approaching relationships, I should say, from a place of attachment, it would have been very hard, or it may have been very hard for you to feel nourished and to authentically express yourself. Because if you're attached to something, it's very hard to be authentic because you are kind of basing your relationship to this other person or thing in context of what you think that they need from you. Because the attachment there is very much based on, if I'm detached from you or if I'm separated from you, I can't exist or I can't function. It's very, very dependency based. I'm getting like codependent vibes here very much from this reading. So this Chiron wound is very much about codependency versus autonomy, sovereignty, personal power, artistic expression, and connection to the self, because that's codependency is a disconnection from the self. It's a wound in your relationship to yourself and your ability to trust yourself and to meet your own needs, to nourish yourself. And I can say this because I was raised in a codependent household where all of my family members were enmeshed, and a lot of the relationship dynamics were highly dysfunctional. And I had to learn to create security for myself. I had to learn to nourish myself. I had to learn to trust myself and to choose relationships that were going to honor and respect that, which has been really hard for me, actually. So, I can relate. If you're resonating with this reading, I get it. No judgment here. This is only a compassionate space for understanding and the purpose of empowering yourself through the understanding of these things. It's not to kind of beat you over the head with these things and say, oh yeah, you've got trust issues and you're codependent and you're not taking action and blah, blah, blah. No, this is part of a much larger story arc at the soul level, and you are doing the good work of God, is what they just told me. That's so funny. But you're doing the good work of this self-development. You are working on healing these things. And it's part of your soul's trajectory to step into this very much enlightened, empowered expression of yourself. This trust and faith that you're developing had to come at the cost of being disconnected from that trust and faith. Because if you want to work on themes of trust and faith development, well, first you have to lose it. It's just part of the storyline here. It's just the character development. It's your backstory. It's, it's the catalyst that spurred this healing and this evolution into being. I also see that you're learning to trust the universe. By learning to trust the universe, you can kind of extrapolate that and learn to trust yourself, and then start taking action, because it's through this artistic eye, it's through this spiritual lens that you can really start to interpret the signs, the symbols, the synchronicities that the universe is throwing your way. You can really start to believe in magic and synchronicity, and symbolism and interpretation can really help you in that, because it gives you the capacity to interpret and to see your power in real time. Because when I ask for something and I start to see that synchronicity show up right away, or I have a question and I put it out there, and then all of a sudden I start seeing this information mirrored back to me through synchronicities and repeating patterns, I don't know about you, but I feel powerful when I see that, because I go, wow, I just manifested the answer to my question. I just manifested the real-time movement of the universe around me and my intention, my seeking, my quest for the answer, for this enlightenment, because light represents knowledge. So if you're seeking the light, you're seeking knowledge. And really what I see here is you're seeking knowledge of self. You're seeking knowledge of self so that you can trust yourself again. And at a larger scale, trust the universe, God, source, creator, other people, your artistic expression, your ability to take action, your capacity to be able to remain authentic through all circumstances. And that includes being in the darkness, going through the dark night of the soul, experiencing challenges, and continuing to nourish yourself through this wisdom that you've gained or developed or will continue to develop as you seek this illumination and this spiritual experience of your power. Part of this is freeing yourself from relationships that were very limiting. And that doesn't mean that you need to cut people out of your life left, right, and center. Sometimes we can just honor people for who they are and accept them as that, but also not allow them to influence our lives negatively. I am getting an energy of reconciliation, especially from the brothers and sisters card. It's kind of like there's something maybe within your family that needs to be healed, or possibly friendships. To get along with others, see the love and the best within them. So this could be about kind of seeing the best in other people so that you can start seeing the best in yourself, because it's a direct reflection. What you see in others is what you see in yourself, and that you just haven't recognized yet. So if you want to trust yourself, it's important to trust others. Or the other way around, if you want to trust others, it's important that you trust yourself. Whichever way you look at it, it's the same equation. It's just which approach is going to serve you best. And it depends, right? It depends on your circumstances, your situation, what kind of led to these things in the first place. But it's really about learning. I see a lot to do with learning here for you. You're learning through these relationships to others. So acknowledge that. Honor and understand that this is part of the pattern. And if you can understand and look for those patterns and see that the larger development of that information, it's kind of like pattern recognition. Pattern recognition can help you to approach this healing more practically. And then you can also use the artistic, very spiritual side of you to see that spiritual understanding and gain the wisdom from it. So it's like that the masculine Virgoan practical side of things that helps you to identify the patterns and to therefore see how things are repeating and in what way, so that you can understand it and detach from it and start to change how you're approaching these situations, looking for a solution, being very scientific about it. But then the spiritual side of the Piscean aspect comes in and helps you to creatively approach this dynamic with a very creative, artistic, innovative solution. So it takes both aspects to be able to really create balance here, to get yourself out of any dark nights of the souls. And sometimes we go through many of those in a lifetime. Sometimes we go through one major one. It really depends on the person, what their soul has chosen, where they're at in their story arc of the soul trajectory and development. Many different factors weigh into that. But I see that you've been in darkness and you're going into the light, because they're drawing my attention to the sun in the horse card, the sun here in trust and faith, and the sun behind the king. And this illumination of the moth heading towards the moon, which is a reflection of the sun. So you've been seeking the light, and that's what's guiding you in the right direction here, group number 2. Sorry, I just realized the bottom row was a little bit cut off there. My bad. Group number 2, I adjusted it. It's all on screen now, but doesn't impact the messages. So yeah, it's just the aesthetic value. I feel like this Chiron retrograde period is helping you to seek knowledge and to take action on the signs, the synchronicities, and the creative inspirations that you've been gaining, the epiphanies or the insights you've been gaining into how you can be more authentic and less attached in an unhealthy way to relationships of all kinds and all dynamics within your life. And through the healthy nourishment of the relationship with yourself, through this trust that you're building, possibly through discipline and application of this knowledge and this spiritual insight, to create more freedom for yourself. You know, Perpetua here with her finger up like that, she's kind of reminding me of like a Girl Scout. I used to be in brownies as a kid, and I can't remember if it was that we did, but she's reminding me of a Girl Scout. And that's very much about like order and hierarchy and discipline. And, you know, you have to do things. You have to go out and earn your badges. And you take this oath that, you know, you're going to remain committed and you're going to always do the right thing. And it's very much about integrity, discipline, and authenticity in this regard. And you learn a lot through those types of things. You know, you learn many different skills in Girl Guides or brownies or Boy Scouts or whatever it is. You learn a lot of these very practical hands-on skills, very yang energy actually, because you have to learn through the experience and then you earn the badge. So I see that that's kind of something that's involved here as well with this Chiron transit and with your Chiron healing phase in this incarnation overall. It's very much about learning through the application. And that's why they've emphasized yang here, is because it's very much about, you know, implementing. You need to put your money where your mouth is what Spirit just told me. But it's like you got to walk the talk. You've got to actually apply it. You've got to do things, because that's how you gain the experience. That's where you have the knowledge. It's not about studying books or learning through written word. That might be part of it. Yeah, definitely. But it's also about application. You have to apply it. You need to learn through the subjective experience that these patterns and the recognition of them are giving you or trying to give you. Yeah, and they did mention learning from your friends, old and new. So it's learning from other people, learning from your relationship to other people. Trusting your own psychic knowledge is also emphasized here with Pisces, trusting your own psychic knowledge. You're able to tap into that. So that is also part of what you're learning here, is to connect to your psychic abilities, your intuitive self, your feeling body, your soul, basically. Your soul has all of that capacity to connect to the higher realms and to transmit that information to your conscious human mind. And it's just up to your conscious human mind to interpret it. And then, of course, to apply it through action. And they just drew me to the card, this could be the one, and specifically to partner you seek. So part of this healing could be definitely in regard to romance and a partner that you're seeking. Because again, we have that seeking energy. You're seeking something in this lifetime. And part of this Chiron positioning is about seeking something. Well, in this case, you're seeking knowledge. In this case, you're seeking artistic and authentic expression. In this case, you're seeking trustful relationships, a partner who's committed, nourishment through relationship to others, commitment. Yeah, the Hierophant is like the priest who marries people. Maybe you're seeking commitment, long-term partnership without the attachment, but more so just the longevity. You can be detached and still be committed. That's where freedom and partnership really come into harmony. Yeah, they said, as you feel safe and loved within, so shall your other relationships bloom and prosper. And then they drew me to the word bloom. They highlighted that, kind of emphasized it in my mind. And then they drew my eyes to this necklace of flowers, roses that are around Paul the Venetian's neck here. So yes, very much about blooming through feeling safe. It's trusting yourself. Yeah, this is really the wound here. It's a lack of self-trust. And so developing and nourishing your relationship to yourself is going to get you out of the darkness. It's going to help you to see the light and therefore see the information, and to implement through taking action so that you trust yourself through the implementation as well. It's like, one of the greatest forms of self-trust is really staying disciplined and proving to yourself that you can trust yourself by backing up what you're realizing intuitively or mentally or emotionally with actual practical actions, practicality. They're saying, please take action to bring your idea to fruition. Take action. They're asking you to take action every time that you have an idea of something. And it doesn't even need to be artistic. It can be something to do with this healing. Maybe you have an idea of, I should do this because it's going to help me to feel more nourished, or I'm just going to feel better if I did that. Do it. Don't just think about it. Do it as soon as possible, because then you're in alignment when you're doing that, because the thought, the idea, the inspiration is aligned with the action, and you trust yourself more. You become stronger in that sense because you're leading yourself. You're becoming that benevolent leader in your own life by taking charge. But the opposite end of this spectrum is stepping out of the entitlement, which can manifest as abdication of your responsibility, not taking action, waiting for somebody else to come in and do it for you, or being overly attached or codependent with others to the extent that, again, you don't trust yourself because people are always either swooping in and saving the day, or you feel disempowered in how much you're giving or receiving in those relationships in an imbalanced way. And then again, the result is that you don't trust yourself. So it's really about trusting your own strength here and being free. Being free to be able to do it for yourself. Like you've the wound and the healing here is about doing it for yourself. It's stepping into that masculine, healthy energy, and being in control of your life in a self-directed, self-motivated type of way, where you have discipline, routine, consistency, autonomy, sovereignty, and at the same time, you are connected to that feminine quality of feeling, perceiving, intuiting, creating. So it's a really nice balance, and that's the relationship within yourself. It's your masculine and your feminine. That is our primary relationship core. Every other relationship we have with others, whether they're male or female, or identify as masculine or feminine, doesn't matter. It's all based on the dynamic we have within us of our masculine and our feminine. And that is not a concept that is just a concept. That is actually practically applied. Yes, it's a spiritual contact, but it's also practical in the sense that it's how we actually operate with those energies. The masculine is leadership, protection, action-oriented. It's goal-oriented. It's problem-solving. It's very linear in the way that it likes to, tackle problems and find solutions. And the feminine is our ability to feel and intuit and sense and receive and to soften and to slow down and to rest and honor and nourish and nurture. And we all do these things every day. But it's in what way are we doing them? In what capacity? In what dynamic? In what kind of an exchange are we using those energies? How are they harmonizing together? Or are they going against one another? Or are we in the wounded aspect of one or both? Healing the relationship with yourself is going to be the healing that you seek within your relationships in the outside world. And it's interesting that this group is talking about feminine and masculine polarity, because we talked really heavily about that in group number 1. But this is completely different context, where group number 1 was really talking about a whole other host of issues and wounds and things like that. But this is same concept, completely different experience or trajectory of the healing. Very interesting. So group number 2. We're going to go deeper in the extended. So we're going to look at all of these cards as well in context to these that we have here on the table. And we're going to get way more information on what this is directly relating to, what you can do to heal it, what may be coming up around this retrograde period, as well as just in general within this incarnation, what you're looking at in terms of working on this and developing this into a strength rather than a wound. And if you're interested in joining us for that, I will leave the link to the extended down below. It's in the members only area of the channel. So you do have to become a member to access that, but you will get the extended for this reading as well as all the other members' readings that are available already, as well as access to the live streams that we do once a month where I answer your questions more directly. So you can actually ask me personal questions and I'll connect to you psychically, provide you guidance, pull some cards for you, and provide healing as well, because I am a professional energy healer. So if you're interested in that, I would highly recommend the Soul Tribe, as it is the base level. And you can also opt for the Soul Family, which gets you a discount on products, downloads, and potential services that I'll have available for you in the future on my website. It's ToKittyandBeyond.com. So that is what I see for you, group number 2. You guys are really stepping into your power in regard to your autonomy, your self-direction, your balance of the king energy, the masculine, the yang, and your feminine essence, and healing your relationship with yourself and others. So thank you so much for being here, guys. I love you. I hope this reading served you in your healing journey and your spiritual empowerment here in this lifetime. And I'm sending you so much love and healing blessings. We'll see you in the extended, or if not, we will see you in another reading. Love you guys. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 3. Welcome to your reading. So let's take a look at all of the cards here that we have for your deepest wound and how to heal it. Now we have the oracle cards and the tarot cards, and we're going to be looking at the oracle cards in this reading to get a general idea of what this wound is and how to empower yourself through the understanding or healing of it. And then we're going to go into a lot more detail in the extended reading, which is available on the members portion of this channel. So we're going to look at the tarot cards and find out even more detail and information about how to heal this, practical tools, implementation, and things like that. So let's go ahead and jump into your reading and find out what this wound is and how to heal it. So you have Her Eye Ever Open, Goddess Tara, and Tibetan Quartz. This may have to do with the third eye and your psychic abilities. Some of these wounds can sometimes show up in like persecution imprints and things like that. All right, let's see. Claircognizance, Archangel Uriel, pay attention to thoughts and ideas that come to you as they are answered prayers. So we have one of clairvoyance. Her Eye Ever Open really speaks to me of the third eye chakra. Claircognizance is the crown chakra. So these are definitely to do with psychic abilities. All right. You have a fiery climax approaches, full moon in Aries. You have Thekla, the prophetess of true power. I call my power back from all times and all places. I am my own. It feels like you kind of lost some of your power in previous lifetimes. Chiron can show us where our past life wounds are and what we kind of need to work on in this lifetime to rectify those, to heal those. Let's see what else you have here. I embrace the all. Very much to do with your power. And this is really reminding me of one of the most recent videos I posted is the Third Eye Awakening video, and it also came with a tutorial on the members only side of the channel where we go into the 7 steps to awaken your psychic abilities, and one of the main ones is embracing the all. And how this applies to the higher level psychic awareness through the crown and third eye chakra. So the embracing of the all is through unity conscious in the heart chakra. If you guys are interested or you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend it. And you can gain access to it through the Soul Tribe membership tier. That's really the true power here that I see you calling back. And it's like a fiery power that lives within you, but it may have been lost along the way through distortion of your truth or possibly persecution. I'm getting that pretty heavily. That message is persecution. So say, for example, being ostracized or punished, or even in past lives killed or imprisoned for being psychic or intuitive or speaking your truth or coming from a place of higher knowledge. Some cultures this was revered, others it was you were liable to be killed for it. So it really depends. But since we're talking about wounds here, yeah, I would venture a guess to say that there was some punishment involved there. You have the octopus. There's many angles to this. There's many sides that are not being seen. I'm also noticing, the octopus actually has multiple hearts. So they have more than one heart. And they have brains throughout their limbs, interestingly enough. So each limb sort of operates independently of the whole, but it's also governed by the larger brain. Octopus are very, very intelligent, highly sentient creatures. And they also come from out of this world, by the way, but I won't go into that here. That's a little too deep for this reading. We have the ram. Look at that. Look at that. Group number 3. You have the ram and you have Aries, which is the ram. So you may be in Aries. You might have Aries in your chart. Chiron might be in your Aries house in your natal chart, if that's relevant. Or this could just be in regard to your personal power, your ability to trust your footing is what they're showing me, like trusting your footing, being able to ascend, being able to be in a leadership position or to direct yourself into higher points of consciousness in your life. Because they're directing my attention to the bird on the branch in the background there. And it's kind of like the bird does not rely on the stability of the branch. It relies on the power of its wings. And with the ram here, it's the ram relying on the sureness of his footing so that he doesn't fall off the rock as he's seeking to climb it. I'm feeling ambitious energy here, and I think that part of your power is being a prophetess, right? Being connected to these psychic abilities so you can provide these messages, these divine messages, and being able to ascend up the mountain in regard to consciousness ascension, spiritual ascension. And being a prophetess means that you are in a leadership position because you're literally governing others. You're using your sure-footedness to be able to get to the top where you can connect to the divine and relay those messages. It's a lot of responsibility. You have play. Beloved one, it's time to set aside work for a while. Don't worry, we will oversee your responsibilities to their completion. Playfulness, gaiety, and laughter will lift your energy so that you'll return to work with a renewed perspective and heightened energy. It's funny that this is coming up because octopus can also speak of multitasking and embracing the all. The wound could be around doing too much. You're trying to do too much. You're trying to be a leader. You're trying to connect to your psychic abilities and all of these messages that are coming in and things kind of getting a little overwhelming in a sense. And it's funny also because this play card is really kind of speaking to me right now. I was literally up until 7 a.m. in the morning last night, I should say, because I didn't go to bed until 7 a.m. because I was filming the first 2 halves of these readings and editing them all night long. And I became like obsessive about it. And I was just so immersed and hyper-focused on what I was doing that I really kind of got lost in it. And that was a Friday night. That was my Friday night. Wild partying. And my friends have actually invited me out today and this weekend to some events, and here I am filming again, and they're saying like, beloved one, it's time to set aside work for a while. Don't worry, we will oversee your responsibilities to their completion. So being able to connect to the playfulness to kind of offset some of the responsibility or the work focus or the multitasking or that sense of the sense of kind of heaviness almost that can come with that responsibility. They gave me the phrase, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And the crown, quite literally, is claircognizance through the crown chakra. So heavy is the head that wears the crown of responsibility to transmit these messages and be the prophetess. So it's important to incorporate this play. And I think part of this Aries, or I should say part of this Chiron wound, is not playing enough and maybe taking this too seriously to the point where you kind of you either burn yourself out or you lose yourself in the process, or you know, some kind of fiery climax happens where you're forced to slow down. You have right, Thoth. Yeah, I'm definitely in this group. I'm in this group with you guys. This is really resonating with me. And Thoth is a divine messenger as well. He was a prophet. Yeah, he was a prophet. So you guys you're meant to be prophets, or you are prophets, I should say, not you're meant to be. You are this, and the wound seems to be around how to apply that, or how to express that in an aligned, balanced way. You also have the thinker. Not surprised to see this card here, especially since we have right with Thoth and her eye ever open in claircognizance. This is a very, very intelligent, deep philosophical energy, and being connected to the mind is a big part of that, because that's where, you know, the ascension into this wisdom and this truth really resides. So being able to go up into the realms of the mind and be this deep thinker helps to get this information across, or to bring about this true power. We have Emu. This is a good time to go on a new adventure. They're really emphasizing the need for play and expansion and adventure, especially if you've been too much in your mind. This wound could reside around overthinking. They keep bringing me back to the octopus with multitasking. It's like doing too much. And they're showing me in my mind how there's like a meme out there. I'll see if I can find it and put it on the screen. But there's a meme out there about sometimes an octopus will just punch a fish. There's like no reason for it. They'll just do it because they're bored. And it's very like human-like behavior if we're looking at it that way. You know, it's highly sentient. It's just like, it's like this sort of spiteful playfulness, maybe because they're bored, maybe because they're frustrated, maybe because they just need to express some of that emotion or that energy, right? There's no real purpose to it. It's just like a way of trying to offset some of that energy, because they're highly, highly conscious creatures. And they're very, very intelligent, very, very intelligent. So I'm also being called to mention, if you guys haven't seen, what is it, My Friend the Octopus? No, My Octopus Teacher, or My Teacher the Octopus. I can't remember. It's a documentary on Netflix about a man who befriends an octopus. And it's a harrowing, beautiful, soul-touching, heart-wrenching movie. And I highly recommend it. It's profound, quite profound. But yeah, this is something that they're emphasizing here, is the need to diversify your environment to stimulate your mind. That's what Spirit just told me. I translated that verbatim. Diversify your environment to stimulate your mind, because being highly sentient as you are and a deep thinker, you can't really put yourself into a box. You need to embrace the all, which is diversity. Okay. Let's see. The Mystic. I am not surprised to see this. This is so on point with the rest of this reading. You are a mystic, group number 3. This is reveling in intimate union with the divine. The shadow attribute is delusional rapport with the divine. Some of this wound may be around distortions of leadership, maybe going into the shadow side of this true power, and thinking that you know better than others, or that you are more special than others. But if that's not the case, then what I'm really seeing here, and what I'm personally resonating with, is more so the energy of kind of overdoing, you know, that discipline in regard to the responsibility of being the mystic, and forgetting to live a human part of the life, you know, the play, the fun, the travel, the adventure, the being connected. It's like from all times and places. So they're really drawing my attention to all places. And maybe traveling is part of this. And maybe there's a wound around kind of putting yourself out into the world. Maybe it's more comfortable to stay up on the mountaintop and be the mystic in more of an isolated role, because this feels safer. and less vulnerable. But they're saying to connect back to your true power, it's about reconnecting to play, which means getting out into the world again or making yourself more visible or public, especially with Thoth here in regard to writing. This could be writing down channeled messages or mystical information and publishing a book. Yeah. There could be a wound around that, fear around that. Let's see this karma card. You have Asia. It's so funny because I was just seeing that in my head. I was seeing a monk on top of a Himalayan mountain. I didn't say it, but that's what I was seeing when I was looking at the ram. So this is a past life, most likely I just heard Buddha or disciple of Buddha. Let me see. I gotta move all these up now. Hold on, we're running out of room. So many cards on the table. I gotta make some room. Make some room. There we go. That's better. Now we've got some space. Now we're cooking with peanut oil. You have a soulmate. I don't know how that fits in. I don't really see anything else here to do with a soulmate connection. It's very much focused on the self, the divine, thinking. Yeah, this being a prophet or a mystic. Let's see. Maybe it'll come up in the rest of these cards. You have foundation and achievements. Oh, you could be, part of this wound could be neglecting relationships and the home, because even in this card, it looks like the foundation and achievements of maybe, having a house and a family and things like that. And if you were a monk in, let's say, a monastery or something like that, you don't have a family, you don't have a home, you don't own land, you don't have any of those things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that could be part of the wound that you're being called to address in this lifetime, to have more of a connection to those more mundane level human things, which can be really fun, playful, and satisfying. Okay. You have chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. Yes. Okay. So this is to do with reconnecting to love and embracing the all, I think, is part of that, right? It's not neglecting any one part of your life. The 8 arms is like the multiple different facets. It's like you can be this and you can also be that. You can be a mystic and a prophetess or prophet and still have a loving family and home and playfulness. And you can be a deep philosopher and thinker and translate for the divine, and you can still want to have physical chemistry and just a sense of humanness. It's like you can be a conduit for the divine and still be human. That's really what I'm seeing here. You have tried something new. You'll only know that you can do something if you try. We have a lot to do with going on a new adventure, trying something new. Where was the other one? All places. Yeah, it's very much an emphasis on trying something new. And the wound here seems to be around staying in the old systems or structures that feel more comfortable to you, which could be being in this role of the mystic. You have bountiful harvest. Beautiful card. Look at the colors. I love that. And the detail. Wow. So I feel like this is, I'm seeing expansion in the world. I'm also seeing these blessings moving all around, coming out of your energy field, because you are this very powerful divine being or channel for God, for Source, for the Creator. Because your eye is ever open, you have powerful ability to embody the divine energy. Part of this is being out in the world, because they're really emphasizing that. And the wound here with Chiron, maybe I just heard mystifying. It may be demystifying the need for travel or the need for expansion or the need to kind of put yourself out physically into the world and to connect more. I will not be surprised if the Hermit card comes out in the extended reading, because I'm very much feeling that energy here. It's like the Hermit sitting on top of a mountain and being very profoundly connected to the divine, but not really living a human life. You have the North Node. So this is destiny. This is part of what you're developing into. The North Node is your purpose. So being a prophet or a prophetess, being a mystic, being a psychic, being a translator for the divine, an embodier of the divine is part of your purpose in this lifetime, because it's part of who you are at soul level. But and they're saying success will come from this. We have bountiful harvest and success. There will be success and benefit from this. We see the other side. Have faith. Do not worry. Now is the time. Calling your power back from all time periods. Now is the time to take action with Aries and the Ram. It's like the time is approaching. It's ready. You're ready, I should say. It's interesting because I'm not seeing all that much to do with a wound here. A lot of this is very much like, this is who you are. This is your power. Maybe some of the wound is just kind of stepping out of your comfort zone a little bit and trying new things. Yeah, that's really the only wound that I'm seeing here is being able to just be more human, in the sense that you can play and connect to other people with relationships and work towards, more human goals like marriage and buying a house or traveling, having physical experiences out there in the world, rather than sitting on a mountaintop and just connecting to the divine all day, every day. Spirit's really talking to me here. Directly to me. Yeah, so, but I know I'm not the only one. I'm not the only mystic. I'm not the only divine channel. There's a lot of us here. And we came from other worlds. That's why they had me mention that with the octopus. It's starseeds. Yeah, you guys are starseeds if you're in this group. And we're soul family here. Yeah, because we've got similar, we're like part of the same team, Part of the same team. We're on the same team. And you have Tulip. You are worth what it is you desire. So it's kind of like accepting that you can go after your desires, not completely abstaining from them. Maybe you lived lifetimes where you were a monk or a priest or somebody who was highly spiritual or highly religious, but you abstained. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. You abstained from what you desired. You limited your capacity to really go passionately after what you were interested in, or what brought you a sense of joy, or to allow yourself to play. There was just a heavy responsibility on your shoulders, like the weight of the world being on your shoulders. But in this lifetime, healing of this wound is really about, because it is a wound. Yeah, they're telling me one lifetime of that is fine. But if you do that for too many lifetimes in a row, it becomes a wound because you become entrenched and stuck. And then there's pain in that stuckness. There's disconnection, there's lack, there's imbalance. So the balancing of this wound is really about being able to get out into the world now, fulfilling your purpose as a prophet or a mystic or a psychic or a channel, but at the same time, living a human life, having these very positive human experiences where you can try new things, you can explore, you can adventure, you can expand, you can connect to people, you can really live. And embrace the all, being entirely human and entirely divine. You're not one or the other, you're both. You're both. Spirit said, so act like it. You're both. So act like it. Get out there, go do stuff. Stop. Oh, they said stop acting holier than thou. Ooh. Call out from Spirit, shots fired. It's like, yes, it's a responsibility, but it doesn't mean that you have to completely abdicate your humanity. Yeah, okay. So group 3, I see your passion returning, your curiosity for life, your ability to kind of get out of your own head and get out of your own way and move in directions that feel inspiring to you, that feel, they just gave me the word elucidate. It's like having real life physical experiences that actually teach you rather than you teaching other people. It's kind of like being able to balance those roles, right? Where most of the time you may be in a position of responsibility where you're in a leadership role of some kind. Maybe you're not this mystic on the mountaintop in this lifetime. Maybe you're not, in my example, sitting behind, sitting in your studio, which is kind of like my mountaintop, and reading the messages of the divine and sharing those, channeling those and speaking those, but doing it in isolation. Maybe that's not the case for you, but there's some aspect of your life in this lifetime where there is a wound in some regard around your ability to really be out there and doing things and trying things and building in a more human way. And starseeds, if you resonate with that term or not, either way, it can really kind of create a feeling of isolation or a disconnection from the rest of the world. We don't necessarily want the same things that other people want. We don't tend to live traditional types of lives. We're kind of the outliers. We're the black sheep. We don't really fit in. And part of that is because we're not meant to fit in. But part of that is because we don't really fit in. And then I think that's okay. But I think that it's all right if you want to try on the shoe. You know what I mean? If you want to try on the shoe that humanity wears, and just, this is fun, like playing dress up, it's like put on your human suit, go play human. It's okay. Play. Yeah, right. Okay. Playing dress up. Of course, that's the analogy they gave me because they were showing me in my head a little girl putting on her mom's shoes, her high heels, like I used to do when I was a kid, and playing grown up, and it's like, it's kind of like an alien playing human. A mystic playing just a modern person, going out and getting their groceries and hanging out with friends and, talking about the weather. It's such mundane human things, but there's beauty in that and there's value in that. It's not to be completely shirked or ignored for these profound mystical moments. Yes, those are important, but without the human grounded physical practical experiences of life, it really wouldn't we wouldn't understand the profundity of those mystical realizations or experiences because we need contrast. We need both. We are living in the third dimensional realm temporarily, and so it is built on duality. And this duality is what helps us to see and appreciate the all. I embrace the all. Of all the wounds in all the readings here, you guys actually have the least aggressive wound, if I want to call it that. It's more of a playful wound. It's more of just a wound of getting outside your comfort zone a little bit and putting yourself out there. But it's not like trauma wound. I mean, it's more of like a restriction on the self and an over exertion because of your sense of responsibility, which, kudos to you for being so dedicated, group number 3. But it is important to have some fun. It is important to relax. And now they're playing in my head that song, or not song, what is it from The Shining? All work and no play make Jack a dull boy. Yeah, it's like and it's the same thing at soul level is what they're saying. If you are too dedicated, too responsible, too in that energy of obligation, it becomes this distortion. It can even become delusional because you're disconnected from the all. You're disconnected from the balance of life. Too in your head. Yeah. Gotta go out and live. Gotta live your life. Group number 3. And speaking of, after this reading, I'm going to do the extended reading. Then I'm going to do the 7-day week ahead reading for the members as well. And then I'm going to get ready and I'm going to go and meet my friends. So I should probably be quick here and wrap up this reading because I got stuff to do. So that is what I see for you, group number 3. Your Chiron healing, this biggest wound that you have is really just about kind of balancing out your life, embracing the different aspects of your humanity, the divine aspects and the more mundane aspects, having fun with that, enjoying the experience of being human for what it is, traveling, expanding, learning, connecting, embracing love and foundations and achievements that maybe are more mundane, but they are beautiful nonetheless, and they're divine nonetheless too. Don't get me wrong, mundane is still divine because we're divine creators. So everything we created here, even down to cuckoo clocks and retro earrings and fiats, they're all divine. They may seem mundane, but they're divine because we're creators. So everything we create is divine, even the negative stuff. But I won't go into that here. Okay, so that is what I see for you, Group 3. I hope that this reading resonated with you and supported you. If you do want to go deeper, the extended reading, the link will be in the description box below this video, or you can just hit the join button, which should be next to the subscribe button, and gain access to all of the members-only readings, not just this extended, and the live readings that we do once a month as well, where you can ask me more personal questions and I'll connect to you psychically. Since I'm not doing personal readings, that's really the only way to get messages directly from Spirit through me. So yeah, anyways, that's what I see for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I love you, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.